What happens when love turns into betrayal? What happens when trust, carefully built over months, is shattered by lies that were never supposed to surface? This is not just another reality TV breakup. This is the story of Jasmine Pineda and Matt Branis, a story that began with dreams of marriage, ended with heartbreak, and spiraled into a scandal that no one saw coming. From tearful proposals to public humiliation, from hidden affairs to a $500,000 financial scandal, this story has it all. Yes, you heard it right. When Jasmine Pineda proposed marriage to Matt Branis, Matt directly told her that he could not marry her. This led to a major argument between them. Eventually, they both made a heartbreaking decision. Jasmine Pineda and Matt Branis officially separated. Later, a hidden truth was revealed. Matt Branis had been cheating on Jasmine Pineda for the past year. He had deceived her and had secretly been in a romantic relationship with a young woman named Elizabeth for 1 year. Many people claim to have seen Matt Branis several times in different restaurants, but he was not alone. He was with his secret girlfriend Elizabeth. The story did not end there. Jasmine Pineda alleged that Matt Branis had borrowed $500,000 from her. However, he wasted all the borrowed money on online gambling. When Jasmine Pineda asked him to return the money, Matt Branis denied ever borrowing it. In the end, Jasmine Pineda turned to the court. She filed a lawsuit against Matt Branis, accusing him of embezzlement and defamation. The court sentenced Matt Branis to 1 year in prison. Today, we unravel the shocking truth, the story of Jasmine Pineda and Matt Branis. The cameras of 90 Day Fiancé had followed Jasmine Pineda for years. Fans knew her as fiery, passionate, sometimes unpredictable, but always sincere when it came to love. She wanted a future, she wanted security, and she wanted a marriage that would finally prove her battles with love were worth it. And then there was Matt Branis. He wasn't a longtime cast member. In fact, when he entered Jasmine's life, many fans thought he was different, more calm, more grounded. Where Jasmine was explosive with emotion, Matt appeared steady, logical, almost protective. To many, they seemed like opposites who balanced each other out. For months, Jasmine dreamed of making their relationship permanent. The whispers of marriage weren't just fantasy. They were real. She had told friends, she had told family, and even hinted it on social media. For Jasmine, the next step was obvious, a proposal. But here's the twist. Jasmine didn't wait for Matt to ask her. In a moment that would shock fans, she proposed to him. Imagine the scene. A quiet evening, the ring carefully chosen, Jasmine looking directly into Matt's eyes, her voice trembling but determined. "Matt," she said, "I want us to spend the rest of our lives together. Will you marry me?" The room was heavy with silence. Matt's face didn't light up. His eyes didn't widen with joy. Instead, what came out of his mouth shattered the moment instantly. "I can't marry you. Not yet. Not someday." Not even hesitation. It was rejection. Direct. Clear. Brutal. The cameras didn't catch the silence that followed, but those close to the couple described it as ice breaking into a million shards. Jasmine's heart wasn't just bruised, it was crushed. The argument that followed was explosive. Words thrown like knives. Jasmine accused him of wasting her time. Matt accused her of pressuring him. The dream of marriage dissolved into a storm of anger, tears, and disbelief. Neighbors recalled the shouting that night. Friends noticed Jasmine's sudden silence on social media. Something was broken, and it was broken beyond repair. And so, with heavy hearts, the two made a decision that would shock fans. They were done. Jasmine Pineda and Matt Branis officially separated. But as painful as that moment was, what Jasmine didn't know was that the rejection wasn't just about fear of commitment. It was about secrets. Secrets Matt had been hiding for over a year. The proposal had ended in disaster. What was supposed to be a defining moment of love had turned into an explosion of heartbreak. For Jasmine Pineda, the days after Matt's rejection were filled with silence, a kind of silence that screams louder than words. She had gone on television, confessed her heart to the world, and in return, she was denied in front of everyone who mattered. Friends close to Jasmine described her as devastated, She stopped answering calls. Her once fiery personality dimmed. Even her social media presence, usually filled with bold posts and sharp captions, went quiet. Meanwhile, Matt Brannis moved differently. He wasn't grieving the way Jasmine was. He wasn't spiraling publicly. Instead, he seemed almost relieved. Those who saw him in the days following the split described him as calm, almost as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. But behind that calm exterior, Matt was hiding something. When word of the breakup spread, 90-Day Fiancé fans exploded online. Jasmine had always been a polarizing figure on the show. Some loved her fiery honesty, others criticized her emotional outbursts, but nearly everyone agreed that her public rejection was humiliating. Clips of the proposal circulated on fan pages. Viewers debated whether Matt was cold-hearted or simply honest. Some said Jasmine had pushed him too hard, while others insisted Matt had led her on. But what no one outside their private circle knew was that the breakup wasn't just about marriage pressure. It was about something darker, and Jasmine was about to uncover the truth. In the weeks after their split, Jasmine tried to rebuild herself. She spent time with friends, leaned on her family, and tried to convince herself that the relationship had simply run its course. But late at night, questions haunted her. Why would Matt say no so harshly? Why did he look so calm, almost detached, as if he had already moved on? The answers came sooner than she expected. The first hints of betrayal didn't come from Matt directly. They came from strangers. A fan messaged Jasmine privately, claiming to have seen Matt dining with another woman. Jasmine brushed it off at first. After all, they were broken up. Maybe Matt was just trying to move forward. But the whispers grew louder. More people came forward. They described Matt in restaurants, in bars, always with the same woman. And then came the name that would send Jasmine spiraling: Elizabeth. Elizabeth was younger, fresh-faced, and unknown to the public eye. But according to witnesses, she wasn't a new figure in Matt's life. She had been there for a long time, perhaps longer than Jasmine ever realized. When Jasmine confronted Matt, he denied everything. He brushed it off as rumors, jealous fans, online gossip. He told her she was being dramatic, paranoid, words that cut her deeper than rejection ever could. But Jasmine's instincts told her otherwise, and in time, her instincts would prove right. The heartbreak of rejection was only the beginning. The betrayal of lies was still waiting to be revealed. And once Jasmine uncovered the truth about Elizabeth, the world around Matt Brannis would start to collapse. The whispers of another woman had grown too loud to ignore. At first, Jasmine clung to the hope that the rumors were just that, rumors. Maybe Matt was being seen with a friend. Maybe fans were exaggerating. Maybe she was overthinking, as he often accused her of doing. But deep inside, her heart knew, and the truth was about to hit harder than she ever imagined. One night, Jasmine received a message from a follower she didn't even know personally. It wasn't just words, it was a photograph. The image was grainy, taken from across a dimly lit restaurant, but it was clear enough to make her heart stop. There was Matt, sitting across from a woman with long brown hair. They weren't just eating. They were holding hands across the table, laughing in a way that screamed intimacy. The woman wasn't a stranger. Her name was Elizabeth. At first, Jasmine felt disbelief. She stared at the photo for hours, her mind racing. Maybe it was old. Maybe it was innocent. But when more pictures from different dates and different restaurants surfaced, the pieces of the puzzle locked into place. This wasn't new. This wasn't casual. This was a relationship, one that had been going on in secret. As Jasmine dug deeper, the horror of the truth unfolded. Elizabeth wasn't just someone Matt had met after their breakup. She had been in the picture for over a year. A year. That meant while Jasmine was planning their future, while she was talking about proposals and marriage, while she was sacrificing everything for their relationship, Matt was already living a double life. Friends later confirmed that Matt had been seen with Elizabeth months before the breakup. Some even suggested that his harsh rejection of Jasmine's proposal made sense now, because he couldn't commit to someone when his heart and his loyalty were already elsewhere. For Jasmine, this revelation was more than betrayal. It was humiliation. The rejection had been painful, but to know that she had been competing with a ghost all along, a secret relationship hidden in plain sight, was unbearable. When Jasmine confronted Matt again, this time armed with photos, he couldn't deny it anymore. The truth was undeniable. The fight was explosive. Neighbors later said they heard shouting that lasted for hours. Jasmine's voice cracked with fury and heartbreak. Matt, cornered, tried to justify himself. He claimed Elizabeth understood him better, that Jasmine had been too demanding, too emotional, too much. But none of his words mattered. To Jasmine, there was no excuse. She had given him love, loyalty, and sacrifice. And in return, he had given her lies. The relationship, already broken, now turned into ashes. When whispers of Elizabeth reached the fan community, chaos followed. Social media lit up with debates. Who was Elizabeth? How long had this been going on? Was Matt cheating the entire time he was on 90-day fiancé with Jasmine? Some fans defended Jasmine fiercely, calling her the victim of Matt's deception. Others blamed her intensity, saying Matt had simply looked for peace elsewhere. But regardless of which side people took, one fact remained. Matt Branis had destroyed the trust of the woman who had once been ready to give him her everything. The truth about Elizabeth wasn't just a scandal. It was the beginning of a larger collapse, because along with love and loyalty, there was something else tied between Jasmine and Matt: money. And the next revelation would turn a broken heart into a battle in court. But before we get there, one thing was clear. Matt's affair with Elizabeth had changed everything. Jasmine wasn't just angry now. She was ready to fight back. Secrets are fragile things. For a while, Matt Branis had managed to hide his affair with Elizabeth in the shadows. Private dinners, late-night meetups, quiet moments behind closed doors. But secrets have a way of slipping through the cracks, and Matt's secret was about to spill into the public eye. It started innocently enough. A fan of 90-Day Fiancé, dining out in downtown Miami, claimed to have spotted Matt in the corner of a restaurant. He wasn't alone. He was with Elizabeth. The fan didn't think much of it at first. Maybe it was business. Maybe it was family. But when they noticed the way Matt leaned in, the way Elizabeth laughed, the way their hands touched across the table, it was clear. This wasn't business. This was intimacy. Soon, more stories poured in. Couples on date nights, waiters at trendy spots, even passers-by in the street. They all had the same story. Matt Branis wasn't single, and he wasn't faithful. He was seen again and again with the same woman. Elizabeth wasn't just a rumor anymore. She was real, and she was everywhere. Photos began to surface. At first, blurry cell phone shots, then clearer images. Matt and Elizabeth walking hand in hand through shopping centers, sharing wine at a rooftop bar, leaning against his car, talking like lovers do. The internet pounced. Fans uploaded pictures to Reddit, Instagram fan pages, and gossip forums. Within weeks, the narrative shifted. Jasmine wasn't just heartbroken, she had been betrayed. Some even went back to re-watch old 90-Day Fiancé clips, pointing out moments where Matt seemed distracted, distant, or emotionally detached. He was already with Elizabeth, some claimed. That's why he never planned to marry Jasmine. For Jasmine, the public whispers were like knives. It wasn't just private betrayal anymore. It was humiliation, broadcast for the world to dissect. Imagine scrolling online and seeing strangers analyze your heartbreak, strangers confirming with photos what you had feared in your gut for months. Every picture of Matt with Elizabeth was another wound, another reminder that while Jasmine had been fighting for love, Matt had been living a double life. Her pride, her dignity, her trust, all stripped away in the glare of public gossip. The fan community split in two. Team Jasmine flooded her comments with messages of support. They told her she deserved better, that she was strong, that Matt had made the mistake of his life. Team Matt argued back, claiming Jasmine was too controlling, too demanding, too unstable to keep a man. They insisted Elizabeth was his escape, his peace, his real happiness. The war of opinions raged online, but one thing was certain: the affair was no longer hidden.